Painkiller Ghosts, Chapter 22, Free Money and Painkiller Soup. Now it's a couple of days later, and this is how it is. Time's gotten a new prescription. He kept on complaining to the doctors about the burning pains longer than he needed to. When asked on a pain scale from 1 to 10, he'd always look at the doctor and say, "This is embarrassing because I've been shot before, but it's a 7, maybe a 6. And when it was really a 4, probably a 3. And it's that time of year. He's harvested the plant from the back. He's cut it down, trimmed off the leaves, and hung it upside down in the attic for a week, and then stuck it in a shoebox after that. And now he would cut off crystal-filled, red-haired green puffs. Between the painkillers and the weed, Time experienced a month of the in and outs. He found days where he'd wake up, crush Percocet onto a grapefruit and eat it, then pack his glass pipe with herb, and he would be in and out of sleep all day. When he wasn't out, he was still in a haze. He found it was a battle to stay up until noon. He watches the Nature Channel for hours now. He can no longer take the news. And now it's time for a Fig Newton, cut open and packed with 2.5 Percocets. He's daydreaming in the day, tossing in his bed at night. When he is alone, he speaks aloud when he means to be talking in his head. At night, eating painkiller soup, he thinks he's said something aloud to his mother, but instead he's asked himself silently in his head. He finds himself talking to the ghost of a dog that he's convinced is there. He's not sure it's there all the time, but sometimes he's sure. Is it time for another yet? Conversely, Chastity has been keeping her bag of pot mostly untouched. Mostly. The joint that she had behind her ear the other day, she gave away over on Carey Street to one of the bearded vets asking for change. Time's fallen asleep, bearded and burnt, and just before noon, Chastity is out for a walk. She has nothing else to do, nowhere to go. She has her blue bag with her, her new blue one. She's still got the book by Suzanne in the bag. Chastity has never been a big reader, but she's working her way through it. Mostly she reads magazines. She loves the paper. She walks down to the park, the one where she shot time. It's not too sunny, but she has her sunglasses on. She walks past the groundskeepers. The two of them are sitting in a golf cart, drinking sodas. They both look at her twice. They can't quite place her, but they know they've seen her. She walks past the tree where she was sitting when Time was shot. There's a faint chalk X on it. She keeps going into some small woods. It's on a hill and she can hear a train nearby. She sees a large tree with some branches about waist high and heads that direction. She climbs up a limb, sits, and pulls the book out and begins to read. After a while, a squirrel gets her attention. Dropping an acorn or something from above, she looks down to the ground where it fell, and she sees brown leather. It's a wallet. She picks it up, she opens it and pulls out $60 in 20s, pulls out a MasterCard, pockets those, and keeps the wallet in her hand. She puts the book into her bag, on top, spine sticking out. She passes by the groundskeepers in their cart. They're done with their sodas and sitting there, not doing anything at all. "I found this over there in the woods." She hands them the wallet. They still don't quite recognize her with the sunglasses on. She turns and walks down the path, through the stone columns, over the parking lot, and starts to walk home. She's a virgin, not an angel. Now it's now, and this is how it is. Stan Thimble's left nostril has finally stopped bleeding. It started bleeding this morning in the kitchen, right after he had taken off the bandage for the first time since the rolling pin incident. He had left the bathroom after taking off the bandages, more painful than he expected, and was not paying attention and walked nose first into a kitchen cabinet that he had left open. The left nostril bled onto the floor and dripped back down the hall as he ran and held the same bandages he'd just taken up off the bloody nose. But now, has finally stopped bleeding. He keeps the nose bandaged. He'll try to take them off again tomorrow. But now he needs some beer, cheese, a sausage pizza, crackers, canned spinach, and aspirin. Lots of aspirin. He'd also like to find some screws to hang the cabinet door back up. After he walked back into the kitchen, he tore it off the hinges. But first, it's time to get some beer. Now it's the next day, and this is how it is. Time is trying to stay awake until 11 a.m. He doesn't think he'll make it. Chastity thinks about trying to use the credit card to get some gas in her car, the stolen credit card, but she decides against it. She's afraid of getting caught. She's not sure if there's any investigation of time being shot. She doesn't want to attract attention to herself again. She chickens out of using the credit card, but drives to the store with what gas she has left to get food. Inside the store, she sees a man picking up canned veggies, and he's got a bandage over his nose. Part of it, his left nostril, is red. The right side is coming loose. She walks over. She's to his right. Just her purse is between them. She's looking at all the cans. So many types, all the same. She's reaching to pick one randomly and hears, "You reading that?" "What?" She looks at the man with the bandaged nose, looks at the can in her hand, and then down to her purse. "Oh, yeah, I am. A little. I read it." He just stares at her bag, at the spine of Suzanne Exler's Times Passing sticking up out of her bag. She smiles. He's not looking at her, just the book. She asks, "What did you think of it?" He looks up, looks her in the eye. "I was really let down. Not my style." He smiled and looked down again. "But she's got potential. I'm excited about trying her again." He winks at her, grabs one more can, turns, and walks off. She walks down the bread aisle, grabs a loaf, then some bagels. Next, she gets some cheese. She gets there right after the same man, the bandaged one, has grabbed some sharp cheddar and disappeared into the beer section. She finds some provolone, walks away through the empty aisles and up to the register where Aaron is standing, waiting with a clipboard. Chastity gives her some of the cash she'd taken out of the wallet, gets her change, takes her bags, and walks out the door. A few minutes later, the bandaged man walks up to the register, takes his items out, beer, cheese, canned item, pizza, crackers, and 2 bottles of aspirin. He looks Aaron in the eye, smiles as big as he can without making his nose bleed more, and says, "Hi, I'm Stan."